Hello everyone, CMeeCraft here, and welcome to another video. Today we're taking a look at the Rose of Segunda, which is, from my understanding, a visual novel of some kind of romantic nature or something. Regardless, let's just get into it and start the game. I'm standing by the window, gazing out from a room I won't see again for a while. Or perhaps ever. To think that in but 2 short weeks I may be engaged, and to the future king no less. Even after all these years preparing for this moment, it does not feel real. Of course, Mother has had it planned since the moment of my birth. With a prince born to the ruling family but 2 years before, as soon as I was discovered to be a girl, my mother saw this as our family's chance to regain our former power. For as she is keen to remind our household, it was but 7 generations ago that a Parisi sat upon the throne. And so now I must join the many other young nobles at the palace for what is ostensibly a celebration of Crown Prince Giuliame's 20th birthday, though I doubt even he believes that. It has been the tradition that 20 is the age when the crown prince or princess marries. Princesses are encouraged to marry the strong, the clever, and the powerful, men who could be kings. Princes, on the other hand... Segunda had a queen once over 300 years ago. She had not been born to the throne, but when the king died, she refused to step down and waged war against those dukes and marquises that would have seen her replaced from amongst themselves. She was not the victor, though, and now history paints her as a power-hungry tyrant. Be it a true account of her character or not, since then all chosen brides of the royal family have been of a very similar disposition. Meek, mild, and without a thought in their pretty little heads. In the salon outside, the sounds of my mother arguing with Frederic drift through the wood, muted but still quite audible. "I cannot believe you would send your only daughter off like this." "She has always known this was planned. It is her duty, something the other members of this family understand. Do you think I wish to spend the last decade overseeing her education? Or every spare moment at court flattering the king to ensure we remain where we belong as the most powerful, most prestigious house in the kingdom? Of course I did not, but it was my obligation and I bore it without complaints." Duty. There is that word again. I must go for duty. Frederic must accompany me for duty. That word seems to be the cause and consequence of everything that happens in this house. But then, after today, I won't be in this house. A jovial rap upon the doors starts me from my musings. "Oh, Minette, are you Minette, are you decent?" "Goodness, Frederic, cease your using that ridiculous pet name. Your sister is a grown woman." Are you ready? Okay, so this is apparently a name thing. I guess. What should we do for name? I don't know. We will be... Maria. Why not? "Maria, oh, what are you doing just standing there? Come along, the coach has been waiting all morning." "Oh my, pray forgive me, Mother, for I had not realized the hour." "Do not bother using your pretty manners on me. I know well enough your true nature. Though I am glad, at least you ready for the pretense. Now, Maria, you know for whom the king will be looking, an even-tempered, modest girl who hasn't a thought in her head." "That's right, sister. I hope you are ready to put your years of education to use as the next royal dullard." "Maria does not have to be an idiot. She merely needs to present herself as one. There are subtler ways to exert one's influence once one is married."
"Why should she play such games? Why can't she just speak her mind? It is insulting."
"Insulting? This is a fair assessment from you. Lazy scoundrel, you are a shame to the family, spending your days carousing with your friends and racking up debts in every gambling house in town.
What else would you have me do? I'm the youngest son. Francois, his heir, and learning his role from father. There's no need for me. If you would just let me take on a profession.
I'd have the gossip crowing about how we can't afford to keep you? Certainly not. Ah, what poor luck we have had of late. With Master Burton still aimed, I cannot be spared from the estate, and then your father and Francois send word that they are delayed at the southern holdings. How I wish your brother had returned in time to escort Maria in your stead. My mother's complaints are silenced by a polite knock. Bastian, the son of our house steward, appearing in the doorway to bow. Your Grace, the rest of the trunks have been taken down to the coach. Good, thank you, Bastian. At least I know there is one level-headed among your trio. In place of Master Burton, I will be relying on you to ensure matters run smoothly, and to inform me the instant they do not. I will endeavor not to disappoint the trust you and my father have placed in me, Your Grace. Indeed. And you, Maria, have you finished your packing? Not quite. Fine. Well, we will wait outside. We will await you outside. Come, Frederick. Bastian, go and tell the coachman you will be departing shortly. My mother hurries the men out before her, and the door slams shut. I pause a moment, watching motes of dusk sparkling in the light from the window at my back, and feeling almost lost in the sudden stillness. It is too late now for wool gathering. I should finish packing. Stupid trunk, it's too full. What to take out?
Okay, a book entitled Hard Arithmetic for Young Ladies. A bottle of Burkett's fireproof whiskey. My toothbrush. Surely won't need a book entitled Hard Arithmetic for Young Ladies. Right? Or whiskey? Yeah, I'm sure that we don't need to bring her whiskey. And after all the trouble I went to sneaking it out of Father's study. Finally packed, I summon a servant for my trunk and join my brother for a hasty farewell. Now take care, Maria, and remember, all our hopes ride with you. We love you, Mother. With a rumble, the coach sets out along the gravel drive, and I have to fight not to turn and take a last glimpse of the house. Frederick is inside with me, while Bastian has his place next to the driver. My brother seems to sense I do not wish to talk, and for a while we travel in silence. Outside the window, the world rushes by in the familiar farmlands and distant hills which make up our province of Florentia, as picturesque as a painting brought to life. The Parisi hold more land than any other noble house in the kingdom, including the monarchs. In fact, I would say our power and influence among the nobles rivals that of the ruling family, and I wonder, for what feels like the 100th time, why my mother is so obsessed with the crown. My brother is clearly enjoying the scenery, as I am, a marker for the next town catching Frederick's eyes, and he glances to me with a smile. Well, we're making good time, at least. We should reach Volley well before sundown. Yes. You know, there's nothing to say that once we arrive in the town, we even have to leave it. 2 weeks carousing with your older brother does not sound so objectionable, does it? I imagine Mother would raise plenty of objections once she got word that we had not arrived at the palace. Well, she should be sending you in Well, she should not be sending you in the first place, having to live a lie just to get a husband, and all, so mother can boast about our family's return to the crown. Do you truly plan to go through with this? Are you going to bow to mother's demands and court the prince?
So yes, why not? Yes, it is my duty to try. Pfft, no, or I don't know.
Oh, yeah, why not? Is there anything wrong with the prince?
I would become queen. Who wouldn't want that?
Well, me for one, but if that is your wish, then I cannot but support you in it. I am your man to the last, Maria.
We share a smile, and the comfortable silence descends again, holding us until the driver, somewhere above, pulls the coach to a stop with a shout. Outside, the skies are deep amber and setting the once verdant meadows ablaze, the faded blue of twilight just creeping in over the eastern hills. The town walls of Volley are looming from the road before us, a collection of inns and taverns huddled before the gates as though they, too, crave the shelter within.
Ah, we've reached Tivoli. That is odd, the gates are shut.
Above me I hear Bastian's frustrated tones. Guardsman, oh, why are the gates closed?
Why? Everyone knows the town gates shut at sundown. You have to get a berth in one of the inns outside the walls.
So that was his game. He likely has an arrangement with one of the inns here to send the last few arrivals to their doors. We will do no such thing. We have rooms already prepared within the town, and it is an hour yet until sunset.
Well now, it seems we have a slight disagreement here.
I suppose I had better tell them just who we are. Do not bother. I shall get us inside. Guardsman? Let's see. If you wish to delay our meeting with Sir Bardet, then be my guest. Oh dear, can't your town afford as much daylight as the rest of Florentia? Or be reasonable, man. If you wish to delay our meeting with Sir Bardet, then be my guest.
The mayor?
Indeed, we are to inform him of his recent promotion to the Baronet of Segunda. Though I am sure I can find the moment to mention how his guard refused us entry.
Refused? No, this is a mere misunderstanding, my lady. The gates are open to all guests of the mayor, right, night or day.
The coach stutters forward once more, clattering between the gate posts into the emptying streets. The townsfolk are returning to their homes and families, with the dusk the welcoming glow of each window gilding the cobbles at their feet. Some shout greetings to each other as they pass, and I wonder not for the first time what such a life would be like. Across the carriage, my brother lounges against the plush velvet cushions with a proud smile.
Well done, sister. You got us past that fool with but a word.
It was no trouble. I know you do not like throwing our name about.
No, I do not. It makes me feel too much like Francois. Ah, here we are.
The inn Bastian has arranged is a large building over 2 stories, an archway set through the center leading to a wide courtyard where the stables and coach each house are situated. Inside, it is hardly as well appointed as my house, but it is clean and comfortable, and a young maid shows me to my room, her blonde curls bouncing with every step from beneath her starched linen cap. The majority of our trunks are stored in Bastian's room, the maid reappearing at my door only a quarter hour after leaving me to deliver my small travel case, and I take a moment to tidy my clothes and hair before joining my brother in a private parlor to take our evening meal. I am told the maid will be arriving shortly with your dishes. There is a footman outside should you have any requirements in the meantime. Oh, well, thank you, Bastian, but
If that will be all, I will retire to my room. Please do not hesitate to alert me should you need anything. Bastian bows and turns smartly on his heel, the clicking of the door cutting off any more I could have said.
he didn't stay long.
No, he probably didn't think it was proper, and to think there was a time we considered him a brother. Now you are kept always at your lessons, Bastian and Francos at their differing duties, and I spend most of my time at the university. It is as though we are a household of strangers.
Even us?
Ha! Never us, Minette.
I would write a letter to you over any essay or examination that university would care to set,
though it cost me my degree.
Pray don't. If you fail again another term, Mother will only send you even further away.
And what does it matter? If I fail every subject is set in front of me, Mother will not let any of it lead to a career, even if I pass. She only enrolled me to keep me occupied. Heavens forbid I actually become a useful member of the family.
At least you are allowed to attend. The way your dean talks, my feeble female mind would not even survive a single lecture.
Ha! I am always surprised when the educated men speak such nonsense. Besides, I do not know why you should want to bother. With a good 12 years of private tutors behind you, you have had a better education than most of the graduates. What would you even wish to study if you could?
Lots of options. I'd find it interesting to study mathematics, philosophy, music, history, foreign language, literature. No burning desire. How about I'd like to advance my foreign languages. I know I can speak Danshan and Basque well enough, but it would be wonderful to have the opportunity to learn something from further afield, like Bar City or Canton.
I suppose so, but I wonder how often you'd have an opportunity to use it. My brother sighs and leans forward to rest his chin on his steepled fingers. It seems an age since we have been able to sit together and talk like this, and yet all too soon it has come to an end. I rouse him from his brooding with a slap to the arm.
Come now, there's no point in dwelling on what's to come. Let us enjoy our time together as we may.
A knock at the door behind us.
Ah, and that must be the maid. Please come in.
I am correct in my assumption. An older woman entering, bearing a large tray of simple but what turns out to be quite delicious dishes, and my brother finally abandons his melancholy air. We talk and laugh as we eat, Frederic regaling me with stories from the university, his life so packed with boring trips, drinking parties, and pranks, I'm surprised he even has time to fit in his classes. Our meal finished, we retire to our rooms and to bed, and I find I sleep surprisingly well under the circumstances. With another day of traveling ahead, Bastian wakes us early, and I am dressed and leaving my room with the dawn, but a few steps carrying me to the next door along the hallway where I attempt to rouse my brother similarly.
Frederic, are you ready?
I shall just be a moment. Minette, you go on ahead.
As you will.
I turn on my heel and almost barrel into the broad chest suddenly before me, the man dancing back a step in his mirrored alarm.
Oh, excuse me.
Your pardon, my lady. He recovers himself before I do, the slightest of smiles taking the edge from piercing gray eyes as he bows with an easy grace. Even at this hour, the The courtyard is a bustle of people. Our coach is already out, Bastian overseeing the reining of the horses, while a lone stable hand is struggling to load our luggage back onto the roof, his fellows still idling at the kitchen door finishing their breakfasts. The young man looks to be having trouble. Perhaps I could help him in some way. Or to the other stableman to join in. Help him yourself. Help him, I'm too occupied admiring him. No, well, let's help him ourselves. The instant I make my decision, his foot catches on a flagstone, the trunk is in his arms, faltering, and I just manage to dive in to catch it. Milady!
Here, I have this one. Why do you not go and stand upon the driver's ledge, and I will pass it up to you?
The coach loaded, Frederick joins us, and we set out once again. An hour or so after we depart to Volley, we cross the river Escaine and leave my home of Florentia to enter the royal province of Dacre. We are fortunate that our own province borders the king's. Many other groups will have had far more arduous journeys to undertake to reach the palace. As for Dacre itself, the land is flatter than Florentia, large swaths of it covered in dense forests, which make for a rather dull journey, the road we travel plunging into one soon after we cross the river, and leaving little to look at but the same unending wall of trees. It is not far now, though, and by the early afternoon our coach leaves the shelter of the forest road, and the palace is laid out before us, gold under the sinking sun. There it is, sister, the prize for which you will all be competing. I nod absently. This is not my first visit to the palace, but there is a weight to my arrival now. The expectations of a whole family resting upon my shoulders. The coach enters the curve of the drive, and the palace windows flash white like a dozen eyes blinked in unison, eager to get a good look at the newcomer. I can see, even from this distance, a group of people have gathered before the steps, an older gentleman in fine robes stepping forward from the huddle of servants as our coach pulls up. The man waits patiently for Bastian to leap down and help me step from the carriage, before bowing deeply. Greetings to you, Lady Maria de Parisi, and to your brother, Lord Frederick. I am the king's Seneschal Corin, and I am honored to bid you welcome to the Crown Prince's birthday celebrations. Dip your face and shyly curtsy, bob a polite curtsy, heartily shake his hand. Heartily shake, wow. We'll do the shy curtsy.
Thank you, my lord.
The schnitzel seemed used to this rehearsed kind of shyness and indulges me with a mild smile. Indeed. Well, please allow me to have you escorted to your rooms. Margaret? A young maid hurries forward to curtsy quickly. Margaret, escort the de Parisis to their rooms.
Yes, my lord. This way, please.
We follow the maid up the steps and through the huge doors into the palace. Inside it is just as I remembered. A sea of fine rugs cover the polished marble floors, while rich tapestries and paintings crowd the walls. The whole effect is one of grandeur, and very consciously so. Each rare piece seemingly added not to delight, but press an idea of wealth all-encompassing, of power absolute. The maid leads the way up to the second floor and down a long hallway, other servants pausing to bow as we pass, though that does not stop Bastian from closing the gap between us. Well, that went well enough. I don't know why, I was so nervous. You have trained for this almost your entire life. Why, thank you, Bastian. I mean, I know I make it look simple, but it is nice, all the same, to be recognized for one's efforts. I do not mean... never mind.
Here, my lord, this will be your room.
Ah, my thanks.
Milady, you will be in here.
The maid leads us into a large, well-appointed room with several pieces of fine furniture, all vying for attention. The extravagant four-post bed, with its cloud of pillows, should be the clear winner, though it is not the piece which catches my eye. Before the windows, a large table is soaking up the last of the day's light, and I realize with some relief that, though still not a certainty, this inclusion is the first sign that I will not be taking all my meals under the scrutiny of the courts.
Thank you, miss. Do you require anything more before I leave, milady? Your luggage will be brought up in but a moment, but there is water behind the screen for washing. Well, I shouldn't mind a tot of whiskey or three.
The maid falters. Ah, thank you, that will be all.
Yes, sir.
The door closes with a soft click and Bastian sighs deeply.
Lady Maria. I am tired, Bastian. Allow me to save my act for when it is truly important. A fair request, but as it is, you will have little time to enjoy it. There will be a ball tonight, a good chance to meet not only the king and prince, but also those other ladies who one might class as your rivals. The Duchess de Parcy has studied this matter intensely. There are many other ladies in attendance, but the ones you must be on guard for are Francesca de Allegri,
from the lower barony of Surs, but as cunning as a fox.
Albertine Parasuffe, an excellent musician and hostess with an irritating laugh, and Charlotte de Souza, intensely pretty and currently holder of the title stupidest creature in the kingdom. Well, at least you have been paying attention to your lessons. It is known that these young women all hold the favor of the king. You would be wise to keep an eye on them.
I will. I'll just keep my attention on the prince. Oh, I intend to do more than that. I will. I'll just keep attention on the prince.
That may not be enough. The power here remains with the king, but you know your own mind is this.
Polite knock at the door forestalls any further lecturing.
Enter. You pardon me, lady, but I have been sent to help you with your attire for this evening's reception. Well, that is my cue to depart. Please, Lady Maria, tonight behave as any proper, well-bred, young noblewoman. And not the strong, cunning Hillian you know and love?
An hour to dress, and Frederic arrives as arranged to escort me through the bustling corridors to the grand hall where we join the rest of the courts and nobles of every station gathered before the throne. Considering we are here for a celebration, it is quieter than I expected, and I can feel a tension over the room, like the air before a storm. How many of these people actually enjoy tonight? Well, I know of one who certainly doesn't plan to. My brother is slouched next to me and looking as though it is taking all the effort he possesses not to just collapse where he stands. Come along, Frederic. You can't be bored already. It has barely begun. I'm not bored, sister. At least not yet. But can't you feel it? The atmosphere here. It's choking. Yes, I know what you mean. It's like something is crushing me. Not outside, but within. Frederic glances about us, craning to examine others in the crowd. This surely cannot all be over vying for the prince. Half of those here don't even have a dog in that fight. No offense. None taken. At that instant, the faint murmuring about us dies, and the room seems to straighten as a figure steps onto the dais.
Lord
lords and ladies of the court, His Majesty King August of Segunda. The schnitzel seems to fade into the background, or perhaps his presence merely cannot compete with the arrival of His Majesty King August, ascending the dais in robes of gold and red like a phoenix taking flight. A rainbow of jewels encircles his fingers, throat and brow bright against coffee-hued skin. His dark hair is streaked with gray, though. For a man who has 10 years on my own father, he looks an even smile that gives little away, gracing his noble features. My honored courts, allow me to welcome you here on behalf of my beloved son, Guillaume. Yeah, we'll go with that. Guillaume. I know he is as eager to celebrate his birthday as you all are to share it with him, and I am sure he will come to know some of you very well over the next fortnight. But for this evening, please enjoy the festivities. At his nod, the orchestra opens with a stately waltz, and the crowd about us moves to disperse. Well, this is it then. I'm sure the prince will be touring the room later, though when he will reach us is anyone's guess.
You don't have to wait with me, you know. I bet half the young men here have already stolen away to play cards. Oh, why don't you go and find them?
Really? You do not mind?
Of course not. There is little point in us both suffering. Besides, I can assess the competition while you are gone. Bastian will be so proud.
You are an angel, Maria. Here, Grigori.
My brother bounds off after his friend, another young man no doubt making a stealthy exit. And now we wait.
My. Such a melancholy aspect. I thought this was to be a celebration.
I turn out the familiar voice, the words leaving my lips before I can stop them. The gentleman from the inn?
I am honored you recall me, though I fear I have the advantage here, Lady de Parisi. Please allow me to introduce myself, Leopold Stravizzi, at your service.
The Duke of, Tremaine.
The very same. I feel my suspicions rise and take care to ensure nothing of them shows on my face. The lessons my mother had me learn by rote echo about my head, and I can almost hear her voice at my ear, repeating the words in silent duet. Once a power in the kingdom, surpassed only by the Parisi, the house of Stravizzi fell into ruin but 15 years ago due to mismanagement and poor connections. The bulk of their lands were divided up and sold off, and all worthy company shied from them, lest they be tarnished too. The old Duke of Tremaine died a few years after the scandal, leaving his son to inherit his title and his disfavor. The man before me merely smiles. He likely knows what I'm thinking, but what else can he do? We must all play the game. It is a pleasure to meet you finally, Lady de Parisi.
Please, Maria is fine.
Very well. I have heard you often spoken of here at court, Lady Maria, and yet this is the first time I believe we have met.
My mother prefers to represent our family in that regard.
That she does. Would that I had a willing relative to shoulder such a pleasure on my behalf, but alas, it is mine alone. Still, this celebration provides many new faces. Tell me, are you here to win the prince just like every other giddy young lady in the room?
Why, I don't know what you mean. Certainly not. Why, are you hoping to try your chances?
That is why I have been sent here, but none of your business, yes. I guess, why, are you hoping to try your chances? If you insinuate with the prince, then no. If, however, you are referring to yourself, well, you will just have to wait and see.
Until next we meet, Lady Maria. I watch as the Duke's back disappears into the crowds once more. Through the throng, I can see many familiar faces, though no one I particularly wish to talk to right now. At the back of the room, servers are busy setting out dishes of food, and it strikes me that I have not had anything to eat since a snatched meal at noon. If Frederick were here, I could send him off for a plate at which I could then surreptitiously pick, but as it is, I will have to brave the horde myself. I take a step from my haven at the room's edge, trying to avoid the jostling crowds when... Oh, your pardon, my lady. No matter, I should have been watching where I was going. I do not believe I recognize you, and I thought I would know all the ladies in attendance. I am Maria de Parisi, and the daughter of Duke Claude of Florentia, and I am pleased to make your acquaintance. I am Sophia Veneti of the city of Garlucio. It is a pleasure to meet you. I do not recognize that name, and that can mean only one thing. She is not of the nobility. As though she can see this thought upon my face, she giggles lightly. I have never ever seen such a magnificent building before. Father was so fortunate to receive an invitation for me. And Master Finiti, he is... Why, Father is the head of the Goldsmiths Guild. Wealthy and powerful. I can see how this young lady secured her invitation. Garlucio is famed for its fine jewelry. Master Veneti must be a very important man. Oh, I do not really know about that. I just spend my days sewing and playing with my kitten, Souffle. He's a Perusian, white and ever so fluffy. How rare! I heard they must be imported from Perusia on special ships. Well, that is what the importers say, but I believe they originated as an offshoot of the Dacre Longhairs that were then selectively breeded with the white. She stopped suddenly, a hand clamped on her mouth as though she had just uttered the vilest of oaths. You are not as surprised as you are not as stupid as you seem, are you? Oh, do not worry. I do not imagine many of these girls are. It is the prince I pity. He might actually be the stupidest one of the lot. You really do just say what you think, don't you? To you, certainly. I'm not trying to marry you. I do not know what to say to that. I do not care, but if you tell anyone what I said, why don't you tell more about your theory? Say what you want. No one will believe a comment over a lady. So whatever you wish, I have no intention of pursuing the prince anyways. I do not care, but if you tell anyone what I said... I do not care, but if you tell anyone what I said, then you can tell them I'm not as I seem either. Then we each have a secret to silence the other. Indeed. Please excuse me, my lady. Sophia dips a curtsy and trips off through the crowd, leaving me to continue my path over to the table. A tantalizing selection of dishes are currently being appreciated by the attending noblemen, and those noblewomen too old to care. Proper young ladies do not have appetites. I gaze longingly at the food, my mother's strict lectures rooting me in place with indecision. Grab something small and stuff it whole into my mouth. Resist temptation. Just take something from the table and eat it. Just take something from the table and eat it. All this nonsense about not showing an appetite. On what do they think young ladies subsist? Sunshine and compliments? I take an interesting-looking pastry covered in cheese and anchovies, and am about halfway through it when... Are you enjoying the food, I hope, my lady?
and there before me is Crown Prince Guglielmo, the next in line to the throne of Segunda.
Yes, I am indeed, Your Highness.
Forgive me, though we were formally introduced when you were presented at court, it was some years ago now. I am Guglielmo. It is a pleasure to meet with you again, Lady de Parisi.
The pleasure is mine, Your Highness.
Please, I insist you call me Guglielmo. Guglielmo, it might be a hard G. It probably is a hard G. Guglielmo, we're gonna go with a hard G.
If you would call me Maria.
The deal is struck then. Though it has been a long time since I saw you at court, I know the Duchess attends my father here regularly. How is she faring?
I left my mother in good health.
And your father, the Duke?
He is away at the moment at our southern holdings with my eldest brother, Francus. My elder brother, Frederick, attends me here.
I am glad to hear it. The conversation, if you could call it that, lulls, and I wonder if the prince is as bored of these niceties as I am. So, are you enjoying the gathering tonight? Yes, very much, thank you. To be honest, I'm fonder of more physical pursuits. It would be better with a little bit more wine. Oh, I adore gatherings like this. You can learn all sorts of secrets.
Oh, I adore gatherings like this. You can learn all sorts of secrets. Who's snubbed whose card game, who stole whose maid, who abandoned whom with child. It's all quite fascinating and useful.
Quite. Across the room, the king somehow manages to catch Guglielmo's eye. I recognize a summons when I see one. It seems my father has need of me. It has been a pleasure, my lady. Maria, if you will excuse me. I watch him leave and turn back to the room. My path suddenly blocked by swaths of colored silk and 3 faces with whom I am more than acquainted.
Oh, was that the prince? How can you even ask that, Lady Charlotte? Who else could it be with such a countenance, such an aura of regal perfection, such... Lady Albertine, you forget yourself in your ardor. Lady de Parisi, it is an honor to meet you once again.
Likewise, Lady Francesca. And is that not Lady Albertine and Lady Charlotte as well? How are you enjoying the festivities?
Why, the splendor of such surrounding coupled with the illustrious company leaves me almost faint. And they have a blancmange in the shape of a galleon. And how were your journeys here today? I know, Lady Francesca, that the barony of Ceres is the furthest from Dacre.
In so many ways.
I thank you for the concern, my lady, but we made good time even with the extra carriage my father sent with my luggage.
You had a whole carriage just for your luggage? Or clothes?
But of course, did not you?
Well, our carriage is so large.
My nurse said there was little point in bringing more than a dozen dresses.
Only a dozen? Why, it is almost as though you are poor.
Indeed, you need at least 14, one for each day.
You do not plan to change for dinner? I brought over 20.
20?
Oh dear, Lady Charlotte, perhaps you can send home for more? And you, Lady de Parisi? Oh, for goodness sake. I hardly know. What lady stoops to packing her own luggage? Though I freely admit we all arrived in but one carriage, so I doubt it is more than a dozen. Besides, I heard from my mother that the king abhors extravagant displays. He believes those truly sure of their superiority show their standing in subtler ways. But of course, I merely prefer to have a selection at hand.
Quite so.
Oh, thank goodness, I was worried. I was to be undressed. Oh, underdressed even. My poor mother would have been so ashamed.
Well, there is no need to have any concerns on that front, if you'll excuse me, ladies.
I make good on my escape while I have the chance and find myself a quiet spot against the wall to fend off the impending headache. 2 weeks of such pointless bickering looms ahead of me. Perhaps I should not have been so eager to dismiss Frederick off to cards.
Still, I cannot hide her all night. There are a few other people in the room I recognize, and I spend the rest of the evening taking pains to greet them and renew my acquaintances with the rest of the court.
Ah, there you are, sister. Things seem to be drawing to a close here. Shall I escort you back?
Escort me? Don't tell me you're actually planning to mind what Mother says.
Not Mother, but I do think poor Bastian might collapse with nerves if I lost you.
How went cards?
Well enough. There were some remarkably good players here, especially among the servants.
Don't tell me you lost.
Just enough to keep me sharp. So, how did you like the prince?
Very well, he was quite charming. Fine, he seemed very reserved. Not at all, he bores me to tears. It does not matter, it is my duty to pursue him. Fine, he seemed very reserved. I imagine it would take some time to know him better.
Well, you have another 2 weeks to change your opinion, so fortify it. Did you meet... or fortify it, maybe. Did you meet anyone else of note?
Not particularly... Yeah, not particularly. Your company was sorely missed.
Such flattery. I'm quite undone. Ah, and here's your room.
Frederick leans forward to place a kiss upon my forehead, leaving a lingering scent of sandalwood and brandy.
Sleep well, Minette.
Alright, so that seems like a good enough place as any to end this first look video at, what, the Rose of Segunda? It seems like an interesting visual novel. Production values are okay, not amazing. I've definitely seen better in terms of just objective production values. It seems to me that they may be using, from a structural standpoint, a lot of small choices to gauge where the story goes, instead of just big landmark choices. Could be wrong on that front, but that's interesting. I like that. Anyways, guys, yeah, so if you want to see more The Rose of Segunda, make sure to show your support in the comments, or liking, subscribing, all that fun stuff. We could very well do a full series on this in the future, if there is demand for it. But otherwise, guys, until next time, I've been CMeeCraft, I'll catch you in the next video, whether more The Rose of Segunda, or something else. Goodbye.